So, hello everybody. Today we are going to play a game called Snowdonia. Now, this is not a new game. I saw the first playthrough of this game 12 years ago, 2012, by Box of Delights, Rick Royal, of the original version. And I really liked it, but at that point in time, although the game was fairly new, it was nowhere to be had. Apparently, maybe the print run was only small. I had never heard of the game studio that produced this. But it was unavailable. Then, a couple of years later, there was a Kickstarter for the deluxe version. And this is part of the deluxe version. The rest is somewhere on the floor. But this is the base game. It's almost identical. First of all, in gameplay, it's completely identical with regard to the board. The board looks almost identical, except the original one is smaller. You do not have these tracks on the side where you place the cards. You would place them around the board but other than that, it's completely identical. Now, what is this about? Earlier this week, and today is the 30th of December 2024, so I've been able to play a lot of games. I was introduced to a game called Ticket to Ride, Zug um Zug. I had heard of the game, I'd never played it, and I was completely hooked. And I was like, okay, well, I still got this train game, Snowdonia, so let's give this a whirl, because I have to say I have had this game for several years, because I kickstarted it, but I'd never actually played it, because I don't know why, and then the pandemic hit, and all kinds of things happened. So, yesterday I tried to set it up, and I tried to play it, and I have to say, whoever wrote those rules should be shot. They are as badly written as Everdell's rules, and this really gets me every time, because I'm like, you shell out a lot of money for a game, and then they give you poorly written rules. That's simply not on. There are people who are professionals, like myself, for example, who can write rules. It's what we know, and this is what we do. And I used to do this in a former life, to write documentation. Guys, if you're going to build a game, and if you want to market it, please get somebody who knows how to write the rules for you. So, what is this about? It's not a train game, although there are really nice train cards in the game, and I believe that there's also an information supplement for those people who are really into train spotting about the trains that are featured in the game. Essentially, you're not building a train, you're not building a railway empire, but you are building one single railway from the bottom of Mount Snowden up to the very top. Now this is, you can't see the top because it's, I believe, out of sight. Yeah, it's over here, but you have to trust me that there is one final station, which is called the summit. This is the single player game. I can actually move this over a little bit, I just realized. So it doesn't have all of the stations. But for example, if you were to play 2 players or 5 players, there are different setups as well. So, how does this work? It's a worker placement game. You have 2 workers that you can put on different tasks. These tasks allow you to perform certain actions. Mainly what you want to do is you want to clear all this rubble. So on each of these cards are light brown tokens, light brown cubes that represent rubble. You want to clear the rubble, and you have to start at the bottom, basically working your way up the mountain. You clear the rubble. Once you've cleared the rubble, you can go in, if you have the right raw materials, and build tracks. When you build a track, you basically have to supply iron, or steel rather. You turn this card over, and then you place one of your ownership markers on it, which says, this is mine, I built this part of the railway, and they are worth victory points in the end. every so often you will see these more complex cards. They are actually stations where you don't only have to clear off the rubble to move to the next one, but where you can also build. And this is really abstract. It basically just says provide 4 stone, and then you place your ownership marker here, and it will score 9 points in the end. It doesn't even say what you're building, so it's not like, oh yeah, like in Monopoly, oh I own Park Lane and I'm going to build whatnot, but you just build. And of course, different people, if this was a multiplayer game, could build on the same station. This is why you place your ownership markers. And you have a limited number of actions that you can take each turn. Each one-player game begins with you owning a train. And they suggest that you take train number 1. It's the LADAS. And if you have a train, and if you have coal, you can hire somebody from the pub to work with you. So you would get 3 actions, but it comes at a price. In the one-player game, you get the first train. You get 1 train only, and it comes with a supply of coal. In this case, number 1 comes with 1 coal. So even on my first turn, I could hire this guy. I would have to pay coal. And then this train also gives me the possibility of clearing additional rubble. And this is, of course, the meat of the game. Number 1 is to clear as much rubble as you can to start building. How much can you clear? Well, Snowdonia is, or Mount Snowdon is in, and Snowdonia itself is in Wales, which in turn is in Britain, so the weather usually sucks. So, if it's raining, if there is fog, and there is a lot of fog in around Mount Snowdon, believe me, you can't do any work. So basically you can't clear the rubble, nor can you lay tracks. You can take all of the other actions, but that's with regard to clearing and build and laying tracks, that's it. You can still build. If it's raining, then actually the amount of work that can be done is reduced. So you've got a track over here. At the moment, at the start of the game, you can lay 1 track per track laying action, and you can clear 2 rubble. And by 2, I don't mean 2 spaces, but 2 blocks. And you can also, and those of you who play viticulture will know this, you can also get contracts and fulfill them. This is not a necessity, unlike in viticulture, but you can, and it gives you additional points, but it will also give you additional benefits, usually. The contract cards are down here, and there's 3 of them, and they also double as the weather forecast. So basically you shuffle the contract deck in the beginning, which I've done, and then you lay out 3 cards face down. So we drew a rain card and 2 sun cards. For the beginning, the only cards that we're interested in with regard to the weather are the 2nd and 3rd cards. So we are lucky, we have 2 suns coming up. So this moment in time, we don't do anything with a weather forecast. This is the starting situation. But the next round, this sun moves up and we get to improve the way we do the digging. So basically we will clear rubble at twice the pace, and we will increase the laying of tracks by 1. So that's good news. Plus our train, the LADAS, allows us, whenever we do the clearing rubble action, to clear 2 additional cubes. Then basically what we will do is we will turn over the cards in the contract area, and we can claim them. A card that we can claim, or once we've claimed, may give us additional abilities. So 1 card, for example, has the ability that no other action cards can be played this turn. So if you're the first player and you have this card, you can prevent everyone else, because the cards are face up, you know what everybody else has, you can prevent them from using their own cards. Or they may give you benefits. So there's 1 card that allows you to get 2 additional cubes from the supply, and they represent raw materials. They represent iron ore, stone, and coal. And you need iron ore, which you can convert to steel bars. You need stone, which you can use to build, and you can also, the rubble that you clear, you can also take and convert this into stone for building. And of course you need coal, because without coal you cannot actually power your train, which then means you can't hire your additional laborer. Also, with regard to trains require maintenance, and this is where this track comes in. This is the event track. Even in the multiplayer, the game has its own engine that drives forward gameplay, and I really like this. In this bag of supplies, from which we have drawn these cubes and which we will use for drawing later, at the end of the turn, you draw cubes, and there are some cubes that are event cubes, and when these event cubes are drawn, they are placed on this track, and this is, let's say, outside forces, maybe another consortium coming in and building the railway start happening. So this is the first one, and it says dig. And when it says dig, we check against the how many digging actions or how many things can we dig, and at the moment it would be 2. When we dig for 2, we can remove 2 rubble. The game will remove 2 sites. So basically this one would be cleared and this one would be cleared. One might say, hey, that's great. Yeah, and in theory it is, but when the game, for example, clears these 2 and this one, I cannot actually claim this anymore because it's claimed by the game. I can still build, but I cannot, and this is very important, put my marker on it just for clearing. So that's a problem. And let's take another look at the events. And it basically closes basically, if the system builds a station on space 4, this station is closed. No one can claim anything. Anything that has been claimed already, that's still fine, but you can't put in anything else. So basically, this would be another player coming in and basically buying up all resources. In the multiplayer game, Space 2 actually starts, you can now buy trains. We already start with one, so this one has no effect. 3 means it starts laying tracks. And again, this means that if I've, let's say, cleared these 2 and I want to build tracks on my next turn and I get the track, build track event, these will probably be built by the system and I will not be able to claim them. So it can help. And it can also be to your detriment. This one event is always to your detriment because it means train maintenance, and then you have to make a decision. Are you going to pay steel or are you going and keep your train, or are you going to forfeit your train? In the one-player game, you cannot then rebuy a train. The train is gone forever. But it can be advantageous to say, no, I'm not going to buy, to refurbish my train, because I may want to use the steel for something else, because this is the supply you have, plus in here. You're not going to get any more. And once you have used up all of your cubes, no, that's actually not true. When you convert, they go back into the bag. But at the moment, this is all we have. So there is a limit as to how much you can do. So let's get started. Let's turn over the contract cards. And if you can't see some of the stuff, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do because the board is vast. So we have 3 contracts. One says if you have 3 railway track pieces laid, you get 24 points. The other one says if you have 6 rubble and 1 railway track, you get 18 points. And the other one says for 4 rubble, you get 5 points. And they also have abilities. The first one says you may discard this card instead of a steel bar when required to pay for train maintenance. It also means that if you were to sacrifice this card this way, you're not going to get victory points at the end. The other one says, and this is the one that I've been mentioning, after this card has been activated, no other contract cards may be activated for the rest of the round. So I could totally screw everyone else over. Immediately convert 2 rubble from your personal supply into 1 stone up to 3 times. Take the stone from the supply bag. So you would have to get it from here, and there may not be any stones in here, in which case it doesn't work. So yeah. So what we're going to do first is we are going to be wise. We're going to spend 1 coal and we're going to put it into the supply bag, and we're going to hire an additional hand. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot. There's also the surveyor. He sits over here. There is the surveyor action, which is an action that is not limited to how many people can use it at any one time. And this means the surveyor will start walking up from station to station to station, even if the rubble hasn't been cleared. He simply gives you victory points. So if there is nothing else you can do, you can still send him on his merry way and gain victory points. So let's see. We have no supplies, so that's the first thing that we want to do. And we also want to look at the weather. So we are going to have 2 weather events coming up, which are all favorable. The next one up, we don't know yet. So next round, we will be able to lay sorry, this is wrong. We will be able to dig up 3 rubble and lay 2 tracks. So it might be a good idea to start by actually clearing some rubble and gaining some supplies. So we're going to, whenever you gain supplies, you gain up to 3. So I'm going to take 2 iron ore and I'm going to take 1 coal. I'm going to place them in my supply. That's this one. And then we're going to dig for 2 and for another 2. And that's it. Now, normally, as you know, you could also go to this space and claim a contract card. So in order to basically, and then, you know, you take a card and then you would move the remaining contract cards up 1 space. However, in a 1-player game, they say, okay, screw this. All of the ones that have not been claimed go into the discard pile and you draw 3 new. It's like simulating that you have somebody else who's going to play against you. So now we have 3 new cards and we see that the weather coming up is going to be misty. So we're going to move these up. Here's the fog. And now we do the weather check. So basically we have sun coming up. So sun means the spade moves up 2 and the railway track laying icon goes up by 1. So now on this turn, when we, and these come back, and this one goes back to the pub, when we clear rubble, we would be clearing 4 pieces. So, but we still need to draw 6 cubes, and we may now, of course, also start drawing events. So we're going to take number 1, that's stone, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So we've been lucky, no event, so they all go here. And we're going to hire one guy from the pub because we do want to make headway here. So we're gonna put one in here, we're gonna dig one more time, and then we're going to lay tracks. So number 1 is we are going to gain 3 iron ore. Number 2 is we are going to dig, and today we can dig 4. So we take 1 rubble, 2, 3, 4. And then we are going, oh sorry, that was a mistake. We're going to convert them into steel. So we take these 3 cubes and we're going to take 2, 4 of these and put them into the general supply, and we're going to get 2 stone, and we get them from the normal supply bag, and we need this for building. And we're going to get 1 steel bar. Where did I put the steel bar? The game comes with many components. That's not the steel bar box. The steel bar box is, it's not here either, weird. I had steel bars yesterday, so they must be here somewhere. Oh, here they are. I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't be needing more than 4, and we're going to get 1. And that's the end of the turn. This one goes back to the pub, and these 2 stay with me. Then, first of all of these contracts go away. We draw 3 new ones, 1, 2, 3. We're going to look at the sun, at the weather. It's going to be sunny again, so this one moves up. We can lay 2 tracks and we can still dig twice. Yeah, no, actually, I would have been able to clear 2 more because of my train. So I'm just going to do this now. So, on this turn, now we need to draw 6 cubes. We're probably going to get an event. No. Lucky again. 3. And we only have 2 workers, which means we do want to lay tracks. We can only lay the 1. No, we can only lay the 1. So we're gonna go here and we're going to go here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get 2 and Next turn I can't even do this, so I'm going to take 3. That's him, and we're going to lay 1 track. So we turn this over, we pay 1 steel, and we can see that this is worth 5, but we put our ownership marker on it. So this is now ours. That's the end of the turn. As you can see, turns are really quick. We remove all of the contracts. We draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, fog is coming up. We're going to move up. The weather track. So it's now foggy, so we've placed 2 closed markers up here because you can now not build or do anything with regard to rubble removal. Okay, that's snow. Oh, yeah, this is snow. We will just pretend that it's fog. And now we replenish the supply. 1, 2, 3. And 5, 6, and we get our first event. So this means it's going to clear. And this is the thing. Even if it's foggy and we cannot do any building work or clearing work, the game engine still can. So it's now going to clear 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not too bad because we, in theory, can now go and start building here. We cannot lay tracks, but we can build. Building is still possible. Now we don't have enough to build here because, oh, we could build down here. Do we have to build in order? Probably. Yeah, build on any non-excavation space. So we could, in theory, use our 2 stone to build here and claim this place, this field, this space. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get raw materials. And I really want to have another guy next turn. I do want to create more building materials, so I can do this 3 times. So I can convert 3 iron ore, and I can convert another 3 iron ore, and I can convert 2 rubble into stone. Let's see if there's stone in here. You're allowed to look. There isn't. So what we're going to do is then we are still going to convert this, put it back into the bag and get 2 steel bars. And then that's the end of the turn. And all of the contracts go away. And yes, I have not been using any contracts or not been buying up any contracts. And that may actually be bad gaming. So we're going to move this up. It's sunny, so we can build, but there are going to be 2 fog spaces coming up. So if we're going to do any excavation or any track laying, we have to do it this turn. So first of all, we're going to hire our guy from the pub. We can build 2 tracks, which we are going to do. And we're going to, no, we can only actually build 1 because the building action is closed. You can only do it once, so we're going to lay tracks. Oh, did we, no, we didn't replenish the, we have to draw 6 cubes. Okay, so that's 5. 1 more is 6. Okay, so now we can buy trains. This event is a non-event for us because we already have one. We should definitely start clearing again. So we're gonna do a digging action, which will allow us to dig 6 cubes. We're going to lay tracks. And we are going to build. Okay, so we resolve them from left to right. First of all, we get to excavate 4, 5, 6 pieces of mud, 2 or rubble, 5, 6. We're going to lay 1 track, paying 1 steel bar, laying claim to it. And then we're going to build, and we're going to build on this station because we only have like 2 stone. So they're going to go back into the supply bag, and we're going to get this. And of course, as soon as we run out of these markers, basically ownership markers, the game ends. So while it may seem a good idea to build as early as possible, you don't have to. You could also say, I'm going to wait, because you can build on any station space as soon as it's been cleared. You don't really have to have a railway going up. And that was this. So that's the end of the turn. All of the contracts go away. And if we run out of contract cards, we just reshuffle. We draw 1, 2, 3 suns coming up. And we have this and this closed because of mist. This one goes back to the pub. We replenish the supply. We draw 6 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We cannot lay any tracks or dig this turn and the next turn. So let's take a look if we want to claim a contract. This allows me to build additionally. Okay, this one seems interesting, so let's start by placing our workers. We're going to definitely get resources. We're going to get a card, and we're going to get this card, which means if we have 4 rubble at the end of the game plus 1 rail, we get 11 points. That's not too many, but it allows us to build for 1 less cube. And that also means it would stack with any other bonuses to a minimum of 0 cubes having to, or actually stone having to be used to build. And that's the end of the turn. Everybody comes home. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's going to be foggy again. So next up is fog. Nothing happens. We draw 6 cubes. 2, 4, 6. We're lucky. We're going to hire our guy from the pub for 1. Okay, so we cannot lay tracks. First of all, we're going to get raw materials. We're going to get 3 of these, and we're going to put another one here. 3 of these, 1 coal, 2 of these. And now, first of all, turn over the contracts. Is there anything of interest? Could swap the weather disc. Next up, I can build. I can lay tracks. Oh, sorry, I should have been able to lay 2 tracks. This one would be mine by rights. I'm just going to turn it over. Because basically, you take the action once, but you can build up to 2. So yeah, that would have been viable. Okay, so let's see. I definitely want to convert. I want these to be converted to steel, these to be converted to steel, and these to be converted to stone. Oh no, I can't convert to stone because there is no stone left in there. Yeah, but I really want to have stone. I really want to have steel. So I'm going to convert these into steel. I thought I'd gotten myself 4 steel. Oh, here it is. And then another steel. And that's the end of the turn. This one goes back to the pub. These one go back to the general supply. All of these go away. 1, 2, 3, and it's going to rain. So this one goes away. We can now dig and lay tracks. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lucky. Okay, first of all, we're going to hire our friend from the pub. As someone said, do I really want to give this to somebody who's, you know, like possibly drunk? We can lay 2 tracks. So these go away, we can build. First of all, we're going to get 2 supplies. 1, 1, and 1. Going to convert 1 into steel. And we'll just pretend that we can do this because I don't want to dig out any more steel. And then we're going to lay tracks because we can. So we're going to use the one that I just converted and lay this track. And another one because we can build up to 2 tracks. We're going to put this back and we're going to claim these. like so. That's the end of the turn, and it's probably a mistake, but we will stick with it. So all of these go away. It's foggy. And these are closed. 1, 2, 3. It's going to rain. Why is it a mistake? Because probably now I'll be drawing 2 event cubes and the guy will start building. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I was lucky. What happens if there are no cleared spaces for the engine to lay tracks? Immediately turn over a number of track cards equal to the current laid track work rate. For each track laid by this event, always turn over the first track card. If any rubble cubes remain on the track card, return those to the general supply. Okay, so he is going to remove these and build them immediately. So they are closed. That's fine. I'm not too bothered by that. So we cannot build. Let's take a look. We could build twice. This one's going to give me 24 points. So first of all, we're going to get our little co-worker from the co-working space, also known as the pub. And we're going to build once, twice. So we are going to use 2 steel. Sorry, and we're going to get 1 card. So, number 1. This guy is going to build, for 1 steel, he's going to build on this spot, which gives us 7. And then this guy, his comrade, is going to build on this spot, which gives us 5 victory points. And then we're going to grab this card and we're going to keep it. Now he goes back to the pub. We discard all of these cards, draw up to 3. And we're going to get events like crazy this time. and it's going to be sunny. Now we see that it's raining, so we have to reduce the amount of digging that could be done, or the track laying, by 1 space. So now we can dig for 3 and 2. And now we're going to draw the events, and we're going to lose our train because we cannot actually pay for it because we have no steel left. 2, 4, 5. There should be, shouldn't there be 4 event cubes in here? 6, shouldn't there be, how many event cubes? Sorry, I need to check something right quick. 4. Oh no, it's correct. Okay, so 4. Let's resolve the event first. It's going to build. How does that work again? Okay, so incomplete means, so what we do is we immediately complete a station by placing a black no entry marker on the first incomplete station you encounter. A station is considered incomplete if any rubble remains on any of its excavation spaces, or if any of its non-excavation spaces remain open. For the rest of the game, whenever you take the excavation or build actions, you may no longer do so at this station, though existing ownership markers remain on the card. So this would be the first one because it's incomplete, and it gets a don't do anything here, stay out marker. Bam. But we still retain these 4 points. Okay, that's not too bad. And these 3 go back into the box. Okay, we can now work again. We don't have any coal to get this guy, and we will probably not be getting him next time either. Yeah, I guess we're going to get supplies. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Well, yeah, we should have turned these over, but you know, essentially what we need is raw materials. 1, 2, 3, and it's going to get foggy. What a surprise. We reduce, because it's raining, the amount of rubble that can be cleared and the number of tracks that can be laid. We draw from the bag, and we draw 3 event cards. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to dig up 2 spaces. 1, 2. It's going to remove our train. Bye-bye, we hardly knew you. And it's going to lay 1 track. Okay, I'm going to turn these upside down so that I know that they are actually claimed by the game. Okay. So, and this guy now is no longer, well, I can't hire him because for hiring him I need a train. So coal is now not important anymore. And we are going to, dig. No, so are we going to dig? No, we're not going to dig. We're going to dig next time. We're going to convert resources. And do we want and we do want a contract card. Okay, so we're going to turn 3, 6 into 2 steel. Oh yeah, and these go back. And we're going to take this card. And that's it. All the other cards are going to go away. Sun's coming up. These go up by 2 and this goes up by 1. Turn them over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to get 3 events. Going to complete a station. That's going to be this one. We're going to lay tracks. 2. And we're going to dig 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay. So, what are we going to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we get 2 more tracks, okay, so first of all, if we get 2 more tracks laid, we will get 55 points from the cards. And we could lay these 2 tracks this turn for 1 track laying action. And I could play, because this is the thing, you resolve actions from left to right. I'm not sure if in order for me to use this card, I need to be standing on one of these. I actually don't think so. Let me just check. For each of the action areas, before the first action is resolved for that action area, order area, players may activate contract cards. It doesn't mean I have to be on that space. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to make a decision where we want to go. We want to definitely lay 2 tracks, which we can. And then we're going to build. I'm going to build, I'm going to lay tracks. We're going to go through these. First action, nobody's there, but it's still an action that can be resolved. This is how I play it, because it says basically before any action is resolved from left to right for each action area. So I'm going to immediately take any 2 cubes, and it's going to be these 2. Then I'm going to lay 2 tracks. Paying 2 steel bars. 1, 2. And I'm going to build. And I'm going to invoke I'm able to reduce the cost. And I'm going to reduce the cost by 1 so that I can put 3 cubes here and get this for 4. And since we've now laid the last track, the game ends. So now we start scoring. So, and there is a handy dandy pad that comes with it. So we have 5, 9, 14, 16, 19, 21, 24. Station ownership, we have 4, 11, 16, we didn't move the surveyor. So now let's take a look at the cards that we have. For 4 tracks, we get 31. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 31. And then an additional 3 brings us to 24, so that's 54. So the sum is 14, 7, 94 points. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I really have to say that the game lives up to my expectations. It plays really quickly. I can totally, even the solo is interesting and challenging. And I like the fact that there's a built-in engine that also kicks in non-solo play through the events. Because it means, you have to be very strategic in what you do. You have, you can predict the future by looking at the weather, which will also tell you how the engine is going to fare. So if we have had 2 spots of rain and everybody's building at 1, this action isn't as detrimental, nor is this. But if they're up here and then he digs and then he also lays tracks, he will also, the game engine, it will also propel the game forward, because as soon as the last track is laid, the game ends. So everybody finishes their turn and then the game ends. So if you're unlucky and you have this in 2 and you hit 2, 4, 6, the first 6 spaces will be turned over and laid by the system itself. So this pushes the game ahead really quickly. So this was a very brief round. I don't even know how long we've been playing. Oh yes, I can tell it's 1 hour and 34 minutes, including looking up some of the information. It's a really good game. I can really recommend it. Like I said, this is old. I don't even know if this was ever on sale in this version, or if this was just for Kickstarters. The Kickstarters come with many different scenarios, so you've got way more cards than the ones that I've shown you, because these are, if you like, as it were, Snowdonia proper, so just Snowdonia. And then there are other trains, and of course you can play this because you've got 7 trains, so you could play the beginner's game, the solo game, with 7 different trains, and they would all have a different outcome because the trains behave differently, and grant you different possibilities. And of course, the other scenarios simply play differently because you've got different train tracks that you're going to lay, and so on and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And yeah, this was, for all of you, this was Snowdonia by Tony Boydell. And it is a game that I would really like to recommend to you if you like worker placement and you like a slightly different take on worker placement, because you know, you could also just as well play Viticulture, and I love that game. We love that game to bits, actually. But this is a nice and different take on worker placement. Talk to you soon. Bye.